Welcome to our detailed exploration of how US presidential elections work. If you've ever wondered about the complex process that leads to the election of the President of the United States, you're in the right place. Today we'll break down the entire process from start to finish, helping you understand the various stages and key elements involved. We'll cover everything from the primaries to the Electoral College, ensuring you have a clear picture of how America's highest office is filled. The constitutional framework. To start, it's essential to understand the constitutional basis for US presidential elections. The process is rooted in the US Constitution, primarily Article 2, Section 1, which outlines the establishment of the Electoral College and the general framework for electing the president. Over time, several amendments have further shaped the process. The 12th Amendment, for example, changed the procedure for electing the president and vice president, requiring separate ballots for each. The 22nd Amendment limits the president to 2 terms, and the 23rd Amendment grants Washington, D.C. electoral votes. Together, these elements form the backbone of the U.S. presidential election system: primary elections and caucuses. Let's dive into the first major phase of the election cycle: primary elections and caucuses. These are the preliminary elections held by political parties to select their candidates for the general election. Primaries and caucuses are critical because they determine who will appear on the ballot in November. Primaries can be open, closed, or semi-closed. In open primaries, any registered voter can participate, regardless of party affiliation. This means that even if you're not a member of a particular party, you can still vote in its primary. Closed primaries, on the other hand, only allow registered party members to vote. For example, if you're a registered Democrat, you can only vote in the Democratic primary. Semi-closed primaries permit unaffiliated voters to choose which primary to participate in, but still restrict party members to their own party's primary. Caucuses are different from primaries in that they involve local gatherings where party members discuss and vote for their preferred candidates. These meetings can be lengthy and require a significant time commitment from participants. Iowa is famous for its caucus, which is the first major contest of the primary season. The Iowa caucus often sets the tone for the rest of the primary season, as it can give candidates crucial early momentum. The New Hampshire primary follows closely, providing another early indication of a candidate's viability. The primary and caucus system can vary significantly from state to state. Some states use a proportional system, where delegates are awarded based on the percentage of votes each candidate receives. Others use a winner-takes-all approach, where the candidate with the most votes wins all the delegates. This variation adds a layer of complexity to the election process, as candidates must tailor their strategies to the specific rules and demographics of each state. National conventions. After the primaries and caucuses, each party holds a national convention. These conventions serve several purposes. Firstly, they officially nominate the party's candidate for president and vice president. Delegates from across the country gather to cast their votes based on the outcomes of the primaries and caucuses. The National Convention is also where the party platform is adopted. This platform outlines the party's policies and goals, serving as a blueprint for the campaign. It covers a wide range of issues, from economic policy and healthcare to foreign affairs and social issues. The platform is a crucial document, as it represents the collective stance of the party and serves as a guide for the candidates. National conventions are typically held in the summer before the general election. They are highly orchestrated events filled with speeches, rallies, and various forms of entertainment. Prominent party members, including former presidents, senators, and governors, deliver speeches to rally support and unify the party behind the candidates. The convention also serves as a time for party unity. After a sometimes contentious primary season, the convention provides an opportunity for the party to come together, resolve differences, and present a united front for the general election. This unity is crucial for building momentum and energizing the party's base. The general election campaign. Once the nominees are set, the general election campaign begins in earnest. This phase involves intense campaigning, where candidates travel across the country, participate in debates, and run advertising campaigns to win over voters. The general election campaign is crucial because it's where candidates present their vision for the country and try to sway undecided voters. Campaign strategies vary, but a significant focus is placed on swing states or battleground states. These are states where the outcome is uncertain, and both major parties have a chance of winning. Swing states often receive disproportionate attention from candidates, as winning these states can be key to securing the necessary electoral votes to win the presidency. Examples of swing states include Florida, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Debates play a critical role in the general election campaign. Presidential and vice presidential debates provide a platform for candidates to articulate their policies, challenge their opponents, and engage directly with the electorate. These debates are widely watched and can significantly influence public opinion. Advertising is another essential component of the general election campaign. Candidates and their supporters spend substantial amounts of money on television, radio, and online ads to promote their messages and attack their opponents. These ads are strategically targeted to reach specific demographics and geographic areas. The general election campaign is also a time for grassroots efforts. Volunteers and supporters engage in activities such as phone banking, door-to-door canvassing, and voter registration drives to mobilize voters and build support for their candidates. These efforts can make a significant difference, especially in close races. Understanding the Electoral College. Now let's talk about the Electoral College, a unique feature of the US presidential election system. The Electoral College consists of 538 electors, and to win the presidency, a candidate must receive a majority of 270 electoral votes. Each state has a number of electors equal to its total number of senators and representatives in Congress. Washington, D.C. also has 3 electors, as granted by the 23rd Amendment. The purpose of the Electoral College is to balance the influence of smaller and larger states in the election process. It ensures that candidates must appeal to a broad range of voters across the country, rather than focusing solely on populous urban areas. This system was designed by the Founding Fathers as a compromise between electing the president by popular vote and having Congress choose the president. The allocation of electors means that states with larger populations have more electoral votes. For example, California, the most populous state, has 55 electoral votes, while smaller states like Wyoming have just 3. This distribution requires candidates to build a coalition of support across various regions and demographics to secure a majority of electoral votes. How electoral votes are cast. In most states, the Electoral College follows a winner-takes-all system. This means that the candidate who wins the majority of the popular vote in a state receives all of that state's electoral votes. For example, if a candidate wins 51% of the vote in Texas, they receive all 38 of Texas's electoral votes. This system can amplify the impact of a narrow victory in a state. There are exceptions, however. Maine and Nebraska use a proportional allocation system. In these states, one electoral vote is awarded to the winner of each congressional district, and the remaining 2 electoral votes go to the statewide winner. This system allows for a more nuanced reflection of the voters' preferences and can result in a split electoral vote. The electors themselves are typically chosen by political parties and are often loyal party members or officials. On the first Monday after the second Wednesday in December, the electors meet in their respective state capitals to cast their electoral votes. These votes are then sent to Congress, where they are officially counted in early January. Contingencies and special cases. What happens if no candidate wins a majority of the electoral votes? In this rare scenario, the election is decided by the House of Representatives. Each state delegation casts one vote for one of the top 3 candidates, with a majority of states needed to win. This process was last used in the 1824 election, which resulted in John Quincy Adams becoming president. If there's a tie in the vice presidential race, the Senate chooses the vice president, with each senator casting one vote. This ensures that both the president and the vice president are selected through a democratic process, even in the event of an electoral deadlock. Faithless electors, who do not vote according to their pledged candidate, can also create complications. While rare, such instances have occurred in US history. Some states have laws to prevent this, binding electors to their pledge, while others allow electors to vote freely. Election Day mechanics. Election Day in the United States is held on the first Tuesday, after the first Monday in November. On this day, millions of Americans head to the polls to cast their votes for president, vice president, and other down-ballot candidates. Voter registration is a crucial step in this process, as individuals must be registered to vote in their respective states. There are various methods for voting, including in-person voting, absentee voting, and mail-in voting. In-person voting involves going to a designated polling place and casting a ballot. Absentee voting allows individuals who cannot vote in person on Election Day to submit their ballots by mail or at designated drop-off locations. Mail-in voting has gained popularity in recent years, allowing voters to receive and return their ballots by mail, often weeks before Election Day. Counting the votes. Once the polls close, the process of counting votes begins. Local election officials tally the ballots and report the results to state authorities. This process can take time, especially in close races or states with high volumes of mail-in ballots. Ensuring the accuracy and integrity of the count is paramount, as any discrepancies can lead to legal challenges and recounts. The timeline for finalizing election results includes a safe harbor deadline, which is typically around early December. By this date, states are expected to have resolved any disputes and certified their results. The electors then meet on the first Monday after the second Wednesday in December to cast their electoral votes. The inauguration, the transition period between Election Day and Inauguration Day, is a critical time for the incoming administration. This period allows for the transfer of power and the preparation of new policies and initiatives. The inauguration ceremony, held on January 20th, marks the official start of the new president's term. During the inauguration, the president takes the oath of office, pledging to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. The ceremony includes speeches, parades, and various celebrations, symbolizing the peaceful transition of power and the beginning of a new administration. The inauguration is a moment of national unity and renewal, as the new president outlines their vision for the country and sets the tone for the upcoming term. The event is attended by dignitaries, former presidents, and the general public, reflecting the importance of democratic traditions in the United States. Election security and integrity. Ensuring the security and integrity of elections is essential for maintaining public trust in the democratic process. Election security involves protecting the voting process from cyber attacks, fraud, and other forms of interference. Federal and state agencies work together to safeguard election systems, using technology and best practices to prevent breaches and ensure accurate results. Measures to secure elections include cybersecurity protocols, secure voting machines, and rigorous auditing processes. Voter identification laws and registration requirements also play a role in preventing fraud. Additionally, transparency in the counting and certification process helps build confidence in the election results. The role of the judiciary. The judiciary plays a crucial role in resolving disputes and ensuring the fairness of elections. Courts at various levels, from state courts to the U.S. Supreme Court, may be called upon to address legal challenges related to voting procedures, ballot counting, and election results. One of the most notable cases in recent history is Bush v. Gore in 2000. This case involved a recount dispute in Florida and ultimately led to the Supreme Court halting the recount, effectively awarding the presidency to George W. Bush. The decision highlighted the judiciary's role in the electoral process and the importance of legal frameworks in resolving election-related conflicts. Future trends and challenges. Looking ahead, the U.S. presidential election process faces several potential changes and challenges. One ongoing debate is the future of the Electoral College. Some advocate for its abolition in favor of a national popular vote, arguing that it would more accurately reflect the will of the people. Others contend that the Electoral College protects the interests of smaller states and ensures a balanced representation. Voting technology and security will continue to be critical issues. The increasing polarization of American politics presents another challenge. Ensuring that elections remain fair, free, and representative requires addressing issues such as gerrymandering, voter suppression, and misinformation. Strengthening democratic institutions and fostering civic engagement will be essential for maintaining the integrity of the electoral process.